Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a few new champions that we could see being played at this upcoming Worlds. Now these champions, a lot of them haven't really been played a whole lot this season, or pretty much at all in the competitive scene, but because of nerfs to certain champions and because of buffs to a few of the champions on this list, we could see them played at Worlds this season. Now I did take a look at a lot of the pro players solo queue accounts to kind of come up with this list. A lot of these champions have been spammed by a lot of the pro players recently, so it's pretty good speculation that because they're playing them a lot in solo queue that we could see them in this upcoming Worlds. So with that being said guys, let's get into this video. So the first champion I want to talk about in this video is going to be Jayce. Now Jayce is a champion who did receive some pretty good buffs. It was a few patches ago. He got a buff to his ultimate to where the scaling on his auto attack after he changes forms is now an AD scaling instead of an AP scaling. So when he changes into hammer form and he gets his first auto attack off, it does a lot more damage now, and it just allows him to have a really strong all-in. A lot of the pro mid laners right now and top laners are practicing Jayce, and I feel like because of the buff that he did get, he might actually see some play at Worlds. There are a lot of different like builds and masteries going around right now for Jayce as well in like Korean solo queue. Darshan is going for this really just different build that a lot of other players are going for. He's going for the Yomus, and then after that he's rushing a Duskblade, and he's also taking Storm Raider Surge as his keystone mastery. Now most of the other mid and top laners are taking they're going the Mirror Mana into Yomus, into Black Cleaver, and they're also just taking the Thunderlord. So I'm not too sure which build is better and which mastery is better, but I think that Jayce is definitely going to be played at Worlds, and he is a champion that you should definitely look out for. The next champion I want to take a look at is going to be Kled. So Kled, if you guys don't know, he was not enabled in the last few weeks for like LCS and for competitive play. So if he is played at Worlds, this would be the first time that he's ever been played like on stage and on the competitive circuit. I think that Kled definitely does have some pretty good potential, and a lot of the top laners are practicing him right now. With a lot of nerfs to like the meta top laners, Shen got nerfed in 6.18, Gnar has also been nerfed recently. We could see Kled being played. Now I still think that like Shen and Gnar will probably be played at Worlds and they'll be contested picks, but I could see Kled like being a little bit of a sleeper pick, and some people could pull him out in certain team comps. I think that if you've got like a Twisted Fate in the mid lane and then a Kled in the top lane, you could make some pretty nice roam plays at level 6 with that. It's definitely not as like easy to pull off as like a Shen TF or something like that, but I definitely think that Kled will see a little bit of play at this upcoming Worlds. I'm just not too sure how much. The next champion I want to talk about is going to be Kennen. So with the recent nerfs to top laners like Shen, Gnar, and Echo, I do think that Kennen could rise in popularity and he could be a pretty strong pick. A lot of the teams in the LCK and in the LPL did play Kennen towards the end of the split, and now with like a lot of those other top laners just getting nerfed, I feel like he could even be more highly contested now. He wasn't really a pick that we saw a whole lot of like in NALCS. I don't think he was played very much in the EULCS either, but I think that we will see more Kennen at Worlds, and just because he does have a very strong team fight, he's a decent laning top laner. He's got a very safe laning phase because he's got his E, and it's pretty hard to gank him in the early game. So I think that Kennen is a champion that we could see at this upcoming Worlds. The next champion on this list is going to be Evelynn. So Evelynn is a champion that we really haven't seen a whole lot, if not like at all, in the competitive scene this season. With recent nerfs to Rek'Sai though, if Rek'Sai isn't played as much at this upcoming Worlds, I could see Evelynn being picked more. Now the reason Evelynn really wasn't picked as much, or the reason you wouldn't want to pick Evelynn, was because Rek'Sai does a really good job at countering her. If you don't know, Rek'Sai's passive does reveal steal Evelynn's passive, so it makes it a lot harder for Evelynn to go for those flanks and to try to like engage come a mid to late game team fight. Now with like Rek'Sai and Gragas getting nerfed, we could see Evelynn rise in popularity. I know that Clearlove has been playing a little bit of Evelynn in solo queue recently. MLXG did play a lot of Evelynn last year as well. So a lot of these junglers do like Evelynn, and a lot of the Korean and a lot of the junglers from the Chinese regions, they do like to play these strong early game junglers. So I know for a fact that like Elise and Nidalee will probably be played a lot at Worlds, and then Evelynn will probably be played as well. She probably won't be as high up in priority as an Elise or Nidalee, but I definitely do think that some players will pull her out. The next champion I want to talk about is going to be Jinx. So Jinx is a champion that we did see a lot of at last season's Worlds, but this season other AD carries just kind of outshined her, and she really wasn't played a whole lot in the competitive scene. Now with recent nerfs to some of the other AD carries, and with Jinx getting buffed, she could actually see some play at Worlds. Now one AD carry specifically is spamming a lot of Jinx in solo queue right now, and that's Samsung's AD carry Stitch. He's been playing a lot of Jinx these past few days in solo queue, and he's been doing really well with the champion. So I feel like Jinx won't be as highly contested as some of the other picks like Ezreal, Lucian, and Jhin, but I do think that some of the AD carries might pull her out. I know that NL on Flash Wolves is a really good Jinx player as well, so like with Jinx getting buffed, with some of the other AD carries getting nerfed, she could see some play at Worlds. The next champion I want to talk about here is a pretty interesting one, and it's going to be Skarner. So Skarner really isn't known for being a strong competitive jungler, just because he's a jungler who can get countered pretty easily in the mid to late game if the enemy team does get a QSS. He's not as useful just because his ultimate, you won't really be able to use that, and you won't be able to look for picks with it if the enemy team does have a few QSSs. But like I said earlier, with a lot of the other top tier junglers getting nerfed recently, we could actually see Skarner in this upcoming Worlds. A lot of the junglers right now are actually practicing Skarner in solo queue. So for example, Yanko, Svenskiren, Mountain, Meteos actually practice him as well. And then Ambition, the jungler for Samsung Galaxy, actually did play Skarner in a competitive match at the end of the season, and I'm pretty sure he did end up winning that game actually on Skarner, and I think it was a qualifying game for Samsung Galaxy, and like for him to pull out Skarner in a very important game is actually quite interesting, and I do think that Skarner will see some play at Worlds, and he's definitely going to be a pretty fun jungler to watch in my opinion. Another interesting pick that we could see here at Worlds is Kindred. Now Kindred was a very highly contested pick at the start of the season. She was pretty much a pick or ban jungle champion, but with the nerfs to her, she did fall off quite a bit. Now with other junglers getting nerfed, she could actually see some play at Worlds. Now like Gragas and Rek'Sai, I'm really not too sure what to expect from them from this upcoming Worlds or for this upcoming Worlds. We haven't seen any play on Rek'Sai or Gragas after they did get nerfed, so it's going to be definitely pretty interesting to see the jungle meta for this upcoming Worlds. I think that Elise and Nidalee are the clear like top two junglers that are probably going to be played quite a bit, and then after that it's really up in the air. I feel like Kindred, also like I talked about Skarner, they could actually see some play. A lot of the pro players are actually practicing Kindred as well right now, so Clearlove has been playing quite a bit of Kindred recently, Yankos as well, and then Svenskiren has played like 1 or 2 games, so I don't think she's going to be as highly contested obviously as some of the other junglers, but we could see her played, that's for sure. The next champion on this list is going to be Orianna. So Orianna was played a lot last season at Worlds, and she has been played a lot in the past in the competitive scene, but this season she hasn't been played as much. She's kind of been outshined by other mid lane picks like Malzahar, Vladimir, Taliyah, Cassiopeia, but with a lot of the other mid laners getting nerfed recently, like Taliyah, like Vladimir, I don't think that Taliyah will be played at Worlds at all, just because I feel like that nerf to her Q did hurt her a lot, and because of that we could see more Orianna. Orianna is getting played a lot right now by the pro players in solo queue. I know for a fact that Jensen has been playing a lot of Orianna, and he's known as one of the better Orianna players, that's for sure. The mid laner for G2, Perks, has also been practicing Orianna quite a bit. Bjergsen's been playing it as well, and Huhi has been pulling it out, so I think that Orianna will definitely be played at Worlds for sure. It just depends on like the team comp. I still think that like Malzahar, Cassiopeia, and Vladimir will be the most contested mid lane picks, but if you get a nice like team comp and you build it around Orianna, or you just build a nice team fight team comp, then I feel like Orianna would fit into that really nicely, and she will definitely see a little bit of play at Worlds. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below of some champions that you would like to see played at this upcoming Worlds. Out of the champions that I mentioned on this list, I think I'd want to see Kennen the most out of all of them, just because I do play quite a bit of top lane Kennen, and I think he's just a really fun champion to watch. He's a champion that can completely change the momentum of a game by getting like a nice flash ult engage on the backline, or by just getting a nice flank off. So I think that Kennen would be the one champion that I would like to see played at this upcoming Worlds. With that being said though, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.